the Times uncovered something staggering. The Biden administration has lost track of 85,000 of those kids. We have no idea where they are, what they're doing, or with or for whom. It's a tragic dereliction of the so-called humanity that border czar Kamala Harris promised the administration was all about. And this story, sadly, is about to get worse. Let's bring back our panel. Mark Vargas hosts Mark My Words on Chicago's AM 560, The Answer. Mary Walter is in New Jersey, the host of Mary Walter Radio. Also in New Jersey, Melanie Collette, the host of Money Talk with Melanie on 98.7, The Coast. Mary, I want to start with you. At the end of this month, Joe Biden is ending the familial DNA testing program, which has been a key deterrent to fraud and to child trafficking. A memo, which was sent to frontline border agents, announced the policy decision just kind of matter-of-factly. You know, as a mom, as a human being, I'm speechless. This administration simply does not care, and they don't care, Mary, that we know it.
I have a really hard time with this. I've thought about this. I cannot figure out what is the bonus here for anyone. How do Democrats benefit from this? Because, I mean, look, the Republicans are the same. You got to figure out what the ulterior motive is, and it's usually money. It's usually a follow the money type of thing. So I have to go to a really, really dark place in order to follow the money here. And I don't know. I just can't wrap my brain around it, and I just can't let my brain go to that dark place. That's too far for me to think that there's some kind of benefit to the Democrat Party here.
I agree with you. It's complicated to think about, but this is where they push you, right? Melanie, those DNA tests as of 2019, Melanie. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I couldn't agree more. It makes me angry and sick. And I'm trying to understand why it is that no one has been arrested. You lose one kid at any time with Child Protective Services, you get in trouble. You smoke weed around your kid. You smack your kid. You get in trouble. But the government loses 85,000 kids that were in their custody, and they don't know where they are, and no one gets arrested? Why?
Well, and Melanie, this is the thing, though. Well, thank you. Those DNA tests, as of 2019, showed a third of those migrant families trying to cross the border were not related. Like, I cannot fathom how many children are scared and scarred working sweatshop jobs to pay back their coyotes, and that this administration does not give a rip about them. Mark, weigh in on this for me.
Well, first of all, we shouldn't be surprised because during the pandemic, the Biden administration didn't show any concern for children, though they knew that masking was bad for them, though they knew that they needed a return to the classrooms. They're not protecting, the Democrats aren't protecting the children in cities like Chicago and the south and west sides that are getting murdered every single day. They're not protecting the men, women, and children that are getting murdered in Democratic-controlled cities across the country as crime continues to skyrocket. So why on earth would we think that they'd want to protect children who are being abused and trafficked on the southern border when, in fact, President Biden has spent his entire time talking about there is no real problem to the southern border, and I have been to the southern border. It is absolutely a lie. It's a disgrace, but we see history points the fingers at the Democratic Party that they do not care about children, whether it's our own or whether it's migrants' children.
Yeah, and I won't even go into abortion. Hey, Melanie, put your finances hat on. I think you probably sleep with it on. Just some staggering news on mortgage rates this week. They're back up to 7%. That means the average mortgage payment's now $2,700, you guys, versus $1,850 to rent. I mean, this new liberal world order is something, isn't it? You will own nothing and you will like it.
That's 100% correct. I can't take it anymore. It did not take long for Democrats to completely ruin this country with inflation, with the interest rates. Every economic policy and fiscal policy that they have put in place has set us up for the very position that we're all in financially to this day. No one should be surprised. They just ruined everything with their policies. It's like none of them have ever had an economics class. I don't understand what they are doing.
Right. Here's a weird pivot for you, Mary. Have you been following the Dodgers at all, my dear?
Yes, I have. Not anymore, though. I'm done.
Right. Thank you. In today's crash and burn, the Dodgers, after disinviting the LGBT group that mocks Catholics with nuns in drag, the team apologized and they flippin' re-invited the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence to its Pride Night. All right, guys, I'm from LA. Let's think for a moment about the team's fan base and tell me how this one ends, because I'll tell you what, it's a lot of Hispanics, and last time I checked, they're Catholic.
Yeah, I would love to see the Hispanic players say, I'm not playing. That's it. Find me. Find me for the day. I don't care. I'm not playing. But see, here's the thing. Do you remember when there was a lot of kneeling going on during the national anthem in football,
Sure.
right, in the NFL and different sports, and everybody said, "Oh, I'm not going. I'm going to boycott. I'm going to boycott." You've got these people though who are diehard fans who have season tickets, who've already paid for them. They're going to go to the games. It's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? It's not all Christians, it's Catholics. So Catholics have become the new group that are okay to attack. Even though you've got Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden professing their Catholicism proudly, they're really not Catholic. So it's okay to go after that group because it's a very strong religious identity, right? So if you can demonize them and you can get rid of that group, right? Then you go on to Christians in general and you get rid of that group. Muslims will be the last group that they go after because these people don't have any guts. And Muslims fight back. And good for them.
This is an interesting point. Yeah, this is an interesting point. You're absolutely right. You know, and I know that you guys have been paying attention to this Target story. And Mark, I want to set you up on this one. You know, this new partnership with UK-based designer Ad Prowlin. He's this gay trans guy who insists Satan loves you, because there's nothing wrong with that. Has some curious Pride-inspired gear in its stores. You know, the sweatshirt, super catchy. I love that. Right? Cure transphobia, but not trans people. Satan, they're selling Satan at Target, and now they've done an about face and they've cleared all this jazz out of the stores. Is it too little too late?
Well, I think everyone's paying very close attention, particularly Target and other places, of what's happened to Bud Light. Lost $15.7 billion. That's a lot of money in just a short period of time. Americans are sending a message. You know, it's interesting. The Democrats thought, the progressives that thought it was cool to do that men can wear women's clothing and that women could wear men's clothing. In fact, there are some airlines now that are approved men to wear female flight attendant uniforms. I mean, it's a disgrace. But what's interesting is that this Bud Light situation has really thrown a wrench in their plan, in their strategy, because Americans are standing up and fighting back, and no one wants to be so-called Bud Lighted. And I think Target is in panic mode.
I agree. Melanie, I'm going to give you the last word, my dear.
They left Satan. They left out to kill. Satan loves to kill you. If they want to do some more accurate messaging there, it is absolutely disgusting what they are doing.
I agree.
And I love how they're inclusive of everybody except Christians.
Thank you, panel.